thriller, I think. Oh my god, what on earth did I just read? And it changes everything. You know, much good things, so many good things about Tessa Bailey books. Tessa Bailey books, oh my word. It did my head in. That does my head in. Hi, I hope you're all really good. Welcome back to Kirsty's Booked. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to do my February reading wrap up. Okay, book one of this month was Things Get Better by Katie Piper. This is not at all like the books I usually read. I hardly ever read non-fiction. The only exceptions are if I've got to read it for school or things like this for a memoir. Katie Piper is a huge inspiration. Oh my word, that woman. I don't understand how she has got through what she does and is so successful, and she deserves every bit of success that comes her way, because she has fought long and hard for that. So if you are in a rough place and struggling, I would highly recommend this book. It really will help you. It's sort of a cross of self-help and a memoir. I had to rate it a 3-star just because it wasn't really a type of book I would usually read for fun. That doesn't take away from the value of the book, but I wasn't finding that I wanted to go back to it, and I kept reading it, and I did finish it and I did really enjoy it. It just wasn't like incredible, but just because that's not my genre. The second book of the month was The Housemaid's Secret by Freida McFadden. If you have watched any of my other videos, most of them there is a mention of The Housemaid by Freida McFadden, which I read last month. It was impeccable, so I was really desperate to pick up the sequel, and I was a bit scared to pick up the sequel because of how good the first one was, but I thought if I don't pick it up then it will sit on my TBR for years and I'll forget what happened in the first book, so it's a lot easier to read them quickly. I don't think you have to have read the first book. It does make more sense and it is better. I will say this book is not as good as the first one. A lot of it is quite similar. The storyline's not the same, but there is just a lot that's quite similar, which I did enjoy. It's still a 5-star because it's still an incredible thriller and so shocking, and again with plot twists that I could not see coming in a million years. But it's just not quite as good as the first one. I think maybe because the first one blew me away so much. I had such high expectations for this, so it could only let me down. But I would highly recommend it. It is incredible, and I will definitely be looking to read some more Freida McFadden thrillers. Okay, the third book of the month was Rock Paper Scissors by Alice Feeney. The next 3 books you might have seen if you watched my video on Bookstagram Controls I read for a week. So this was the first one. It was incredible. I was sticking with the thrillers after the success of The Housemaid's Secret. This was another 5-star thriller, I think. Yes, it was. You know when you can't remember what you rated books because it was early on in the month? Yes, this was another 5-star thriller. Blew me away. I wasn't sure for a bit of it. Wasn't sure where it was going to go. Was thinking that I was finding it really predictable, and turns out I was completely off with every single prediction I had. It's nice and quick. It's nice and short, and it is a really quick read. Again, it's got like really short chapters and things like that, and I like there are the main POVs and narratives, and then there are like, I'm trying to find any of them. I literally can't find any. There's it's mostly dual POV with one other POV, and there's also letters. Yeah, so there's a letter like for every anniversary, and it's titled with whatever that anniversary is for. So it is really good, very different, and there is a huge twist in the middle that makes you question everything, and you're literally left there like, oh my god, what on earth did I just read? And it changes everything. Very like Freida McFadden's thrillers actually, but yeah, I'll definitely be looking out for more Alice Feeney books as well. Okay, the fourth book of this month was Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. I'd like to take a moment for the lovely floppiness of this book and this cover actually. I am a huge B.K. Borison fan, and I was desperate to get around to this one. I loved Love Light Farms, I loved In the Weeds, and I am so excited for the 4th one to come out. I think it's... oh no. I was about to say I think it's Mixed Signals. No, that's this one. I'm excited for the 4th one to come out, whatever it's called. I do know. It'll come back to me. Right, so anyway, I loved this one. This was a huge 5-star. It's never going to be anything but B.K. Borison just writes perfection. It is just perfection. Her romance books, oh my word, they just melt my heart. And the thing is, see if some other authors did a few of the plot points that were in this, if they tried to do that in their books, sometimes I would be like, oh, for God's sake, that's so predictable, knew that was coming. But I don't know how, it's just the way she writes. She just cannot do, she can do no wrong. She can do no wrong. I will read anything this woman writes. It is just perfection. I would advise reading them in order. I read In the Weeds before I read Lovelight Farms. They are supposed to be set per month, not per month, sorry, per season. So it's like In the Weeds is autumn, Lovelight Farms is Christmas and like winter. You don't have to read them in the seasons, but I would advise reading Lovelight Farms, then In the Weeds, then Mixed Signals, because they're like slightly interconnected series, but it's not going to be the end of the world. You're just going to know that the characters do end up with each other, which happens anyway in most romance books. So, but yeah, I'm wittering now, but just because I love this book so much. I never even thought about which book's my favourite. I'm going to keep procrastinating. My fifth book of the month is Percy Jackson and the Last Olympian by Rick Riordan. That's me officially finished Percy Jackson, and it actually makes me so sad. I'm going to start Heroes of Olympus, I think, when I get around to it. I love this one. This was definitely the best one in the series. It is a lot thicker than most in the series, but it is amazing. The Percabeth in this book, I actually can't. I love Percy Jackson. I love this series so much. I wish I'd read it when I was younger. I think I could have proper obsessed over it like I did with Harry Potter, but this is amazing, and I will always be a huge Percy Jackson fan, but this one was the best in the series. They are very, very similar to Harry Potter though. I actually don't know which one came first, but they follow very similar storylines. I think because I'm such a huge Harry Potter fan, especially through that last book, I was like going, oh well, that's a parallel to Battle of Hogwarts, and that's a parallel to which characters match up with which, but I love them both. Harry Potter more, but loved Percy Jackson and loved that book. Okay, sixth book in the month. I don't even know what to say. I didn't enjoy this one. It's a 3-star because there was some parts of this I did enjoy. It's so thick. I read this like half. I was travelling when I was reading this, so I read like half of it on the bus and half of it on a plane. Some in an airport as well, actually. I was so excited to read Tessa Bailey. I have seen so much good things, so many good things about Tessa Bailey books. Oh my word, it's getting to this point in the video. So many good things about Tessa Bailey books and this one, and I've been really excited to read it, and I was like, this is perfect. I'll just take this easy, nice rom-com abroad with me. I didn't enjoy it. It was such a slog. It was a 3-star because there were some parts that I liked, and I liked the feminist side of it. A little bit of a spoiler, well, not really a spoiler, but if you want to go into this book blind, not that I'd really recommend it that much, then you can skip this next bit. But basically, for like the first third of the book, so it's a brother's best friend trope, which I quite like usually, but he talks about her, who is his love interest, as though she is his little sister for the first half of it, and talks about how he sees her as a little sister. So what bothered me about that was that he was talking about how much he liked her, and then comparing her to being his little sister. It was very strange. It felt almost incesty. I didn't enjoy it. That does cut out about a third of the way in, but it still just sat weird with me, and there was just so much smut. And don't be wrong, I don't mind a little bit of spice in a book, and I think when done correctly, like in B.K. Borson's, it really adds to the plot, and it really is a good addition to the story. But this was just smut for the sake of smut, and it was so random, like it just made no sense. It's a 3-star. There were some parts I enjoyed, but it wasn't for me. Okay, the 7th book I read in February was Castles of Steel and Thunder by Gail Anthea Brown. Again, lovely flop on this book, but this is because it's an indie author and an indie publisher, so she's a local author up here, and she was actually coming in to talk to our class, so I read this before she came in to talk to our class. It's really, really good. It was a 4-star. It was a nice wee little fantasy that I had to read to break up the romance after this last book, and I was in the middle of reading the next book I'm going to talk about, so I needed to read this to just do something different. It was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was just a nice little fantasy, not perfect, but I really enjoyed it. It was a solid 4-star fantasy. I really would advise looking into it. Yeah, it's lovely, and I'm looking forward to reading the second book in the series. Okay, the second last book I read in February was If I Never Met You by Mari McFarlane. This was even worse than Fix Her Up, which I didn't think was possible. I took both of them away with me. So I was reading this when I was travelling as well. And I'm so concerned that this has put me off romance, the two of these put together. This, little bit of a spoiler here, so it's about 400 pages long. So it takes 300 to 350 pages for the couple to get together. And then I think, brilliant, this means there can't be a third act breakup because we are already so far through the book. And then about, I don't know, 20 pages before the end, there's a third act breakup, and they do get back together again. It did my head in. It was so predictable. There was so much miscommunication. This book, you could have done with like halving it at least. There were also some like really strange ones. This is a huge spoiler, but as soon as they get back together at the end, they're like, let's get married. I'm like, you've just been broken up. And even, this is a really stupid thing, but even like, so to be like her own person, she adopts a kitten on Christmas Eve and then goes and gets back together with the guy, and he is going home to his family for Christmas, and so she's like, I'll come with you, but I can't because I've got the new kitten. And he's like, oh, it's fine, we'll just get a cat sitter. You've just bought the kitten that day. That does my head in. So I really wanted to like it. I tried to like it. It was a 2-star. I did not like it. It was so predictable. And then I was really concerned that I just didn't like romance because they were all really, really predictable books. So I now haven't read a romance since, because I'm really scared, because these were so close to putting me into a reading slump. The next book saved me, but I did not enjoy this one. It might be for you, because I had a look on Goodreads and some people love this book, but I didn't enjoy it. Okay, so the final book I read in February was This Is Where It Ends by Mari Kmijkamp. I'm not sure how you say the author's name, so I'm sorry if I've completely butchered that. This book, I can't even describe it to you. I'm actually going to cry just talking about it. There is a reel up on my Bookstagram, which is also at Kirsty's Booked, of me reading this book, because I was really scared to read it because of how emotional people said it was going to make me. I did not stop crying from start to the end. I have never been that much of a mess with a book, ever. Every single page I thought, oh well, it can't get any more emotional than that, and it did. I was in such a mess. Oh my god. But it was impeccable. If you've not read this, I would highly recommend. You have to be prepared. Completely destroy you. It's so worth it. Actually, I don't even have any proper constructive criticism for it, or like proper reasons why I loved it. It just, you know, when a book just speaks to you and you are like, this book is so special and means so much. This was the best book I read in February, closely followed by Mixed Signals, but this one, yeah, this one has to be the best one. Sometimes you just get a 5-star book and you don't have reasons why it's 5 stars. It just is, because it's just got itself a solid place in your heart. That's this book. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. That was my February wrap up. All the books I read in February. I think I read 9. Yeah, I read 9 this month, which is quite good. I read 10 last month and 9 this month, so already this year is going really well for meeting my reading goal of 100 books by the end of the year. I'm definitely ahead of schedule, so that is really good. Let me know what you read in February, or if you've read any of the books I've been talking about in this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to subscribe or like this video, that would mean so much. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon for another video.